So these are live images that are coming from South Africa of the former head of state, Edgar Lungu. So these are the first images of him that have been publicized or made public in 2025. The past 5 months, the former head of state has been off the radar. All we've heard from him are pretty much statements that have been issued on his Facebook page, which are just text. These are the first images that people are having of him since 2024. The last time we had a public appearance should have been December 2024, if not even earlier than that. So obviously people are making a big deal out of it and having a conversation because different speculation has been going around. So it seems like he's giving out an interview to Dr. Shishua there, the man that you see taking notes as he speaks there. So it's reported to say this is an interview currently ongoing in South Africa, being conducted by Dr. Shishua. I'm pretty sure if it's not a book that is publicizing, most likely we're going to get the video images of this particular interaction or interview of the former head of state, Edgar Chagwa Lungu. So obviously the same images are making rounds over social media. Everyone is posting them. I mean, 5 months of him being off the radar, you expect such a reaction. So the caption here says, fresh images of former President Edgar Chagwa Lungu being interviewed by Dr. Shishua in South Africa. Obviously, another platform has posted the same fresh images of former President Edgar Chagwa Lungu being interviewed by Shishua in South Africa. That's the same headline there. And then obviously the public, you can see reactions there. The people running polls in the comment section say it does not rest is a factor in 2026 election. Some Zambians still need him. So that's Amon P giving his comment there. Just people excited to see the former head of state. I believe maybe him going off the radar has increased his what do you call it, political clout. Like people are more curious to see him, or next time probably he does a live stream or something of that nature. It's going to be mad numbers. And then his wife, on the other hand, was in court because she's in between South Africa and Zambia. So she's in Zambia right now. That's the former First Lady, Esther Lungu. So these are images that are coming from court. So former First Lady, Mrs. Esther Lungu, living the Lusaka Magistrate Court complex after court was adjourned to the 24th of June 2025. So she's in between South Africa and Zambia, obviously. Because as you may be aware, she has a number of court cases in court. One of them should have been properties believed to be proceeds of crime and involving the flats, and then also there was one involving a car that was, she has a number of court cases pretty much. So she's in between the two countries, South Africa and Zambia. So these are images that are coming from the magistrate court where she had appeared, and then the court case has been adjourned to the 24th of next month. And then obviously some people, PF lawyers were amongst them, and Tonse Alliance individuals were also part of them. Nakachinda was also having a court appearance, and he also shared some of the images in that regard. So that's what's going on with regard to the former First family there. That's the update coming from within Zambia for the First Lady, and then obviously it's from South Africa. On the other hand, if you remember, there was a headline that was run by News Diggers, which says Lungu can help Hakainde Hichilema if he feels leadership is hard, because there is a statement that was attributed to the current sitting president, Edgar. Hakainde Hichilema, where you're saying leadership is hard. So Mundubile reacted to that, simply saying, let him consult his predecessor, Edgar Chagwa Lungu, if he feels it's hard. To which the UPND or State House responded immediately. So that it was the response was covered in the Daily Nation. Say, Hakainde Hichilema willing to consult Edgar Chagwa Lungu. So Clayson Masaka, that's the chief communication specialist from State House. Pretty much it should be like the press head, equivalent to the press head of President Hakainde Hichilema. So Clayson Masaka says President Hichilema has nothing against former President Lungu, and is ready to consult him if the wrongs of the past are to be corrected for the benefit of Zambians. So that's a response coming from State House and from Kelson Masaka saying President Hakainde Hichilema is very willing to have that consultation with Edgar Chagwa Lungu if need arises. So we wait and see if that's going to happen. But that's the news coming in. And then obviously George Mutonga, this is a former UPND now. He had resigned, should have been a month ago or something. He's been putting up posts and he has to say UPND promised a new dawn but delivered familiar shadows by George Mutonga. So he goes on to put up an article that says, when the United Party for National Development, UPND, swept into power in 2021, they did so on the back of the hopeful, frustrated, and energized electorate. Their victory was not just a rejection of the Patriotic Front or PF; it was a cry for dignity and institutional reform, for civil liberties, and for Zambia in which justice and freedom are not reversed for the privileged few. Theirs was a campaign that promised a new dawn, meaning that's the ground on which the UPND was voted into power, according to him. He goes further to say, but as we approach 2026, Zambians are asking a painful and necessary question. Well, where is that dawn? He asks. The promise of the United Party for National Development were not modest. They were grand and specific. The manifesto, a document of bold and ambitious pledge to restore freedoms and depolarize our public institution, empower youth and unite the country, and deliver justice without fear and favor. It is only right then that we hold those promises against the reality right now, or the reality we live in. Freedom of expression from promise to suppression. Now he starts highlighting the things that the UPND has done with regard to their promise. So from promise to suppression, it says one of UPND's strongest selling point was their commitment to protecting civil liberties. Zambians were told that the dark days of censorship and state-sponsored intimidation were over, but today we are witnessing a digital crackdown of free speech. The 2025 Cybersecurity and Crimes Act, hurriedly passed with a minimal consultation, has created a culture of fear. Online citizens are now self-censor, fear arrest of what they post on Facebook or say on WhatsApp. So he says, because he highlights a number of things. Let me just name them. Say justice still wears the political color, and then the third one says institutions remain captured. What else does he highlight there? The youth were used and not empowered, so he says the youths were sidelined. 5, he says the Public Order Act still looms, so he says that wasn't voted or repealed. And then 6, he says civil space shrinking and are not expanding. And then he goes further to say in that particular article. So he says in conclusion, according to him, a mandate must be earned and not assured. The United Party for National Development, UPND, may have entered office on the wave of hope, but the hope fades, and when not fed with action, while some may still consider them lesser evil, they must not be handed another landslide victory. In fact, their reduced support in local by-elections and raising public frustration points point to the nation that wants to send a message, not necessarily to remove them, but to humble them. So he says, if they are to win the 2026 elections, let them be by merit, not memory. Let it be on checks and balances, not blind loyalty. Zambians voted for a dawn and not darks to feel all familiar. A new dawn must be held accountable before it becomes the old nightmare. Some of these members of parliament should be used as a message. As a message by making themselves lose these seats. So that's according to George Mutonga there. What is the mass newspaper says UPND chair clobbered, dragged out of church by cadres for eating state house money. So that's in the mass newspaper. So there was a headline that was making rounds to say UPND cadres allegedly assault district chairperson. This was reported by Beta FM Zambia. And then it goes within that article says the radio station goes further to say a well-placed senior local party official has revealed that the United Party for National Development UPND Mazabuka district chairperson was involved in a clash yesterday with some youths because he allegedly didn't share the 20,000 kwacha for party mobilization that was given to him after the Dorcas rally at Rusangu University. Details coming up on Better FM, and then they put the frequency there. So it says there was some fight with regard to some money that was given for party mobilization, which it's alleged he had eaten alone, and he was beaten for that. Obviously, they brought up the details there, and then George Mutonga goes further to highlight why the UPND should be held accountable, and then pretty much repeating the same article that he had shown earlier on. And then just in Lusaka Magistrate Court, as found in former Member of Parliament Maureen Mawonga guilty of one count of seditious practice and acquitted on second count and of the remarks she made during alleged disappearance of former independent Petauke Member of Parliament Emmanuel J. Banda last year. So a former Member of Parliament was arrested, as you may be, in fact jailed for 8 months there. So I'm pretty sure by the end of the day, we're going to get a verdict from Parliament, whether her seat is being nullified or they wait for her to appeal that court case. And then those are the images coming through from her arrest or jailing. What is in the day revelation, Hakainde Hichilema cannot be allowed to rule beyond 2026, Kalaba. His administration has proved to be the very definition of failure. That's according to Hari Kalaba, citizen first president. And that's the news, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great afternoon.